I feel I'm on the right track. I was on the right track about it.
Bimini, to discuss I can't talk about it because I haven't watched it yet. But
No,
looking at the Letterboxd, it's at 3.7, and the top reviews are all quite positive. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics are at like 73-74%. So majority of the discourse I've seen online has been quite positive. It's obviously in Prickly Pears I've seen a lot of criticism. Obviously there's your criticism as well.
no, but
Have you watched it, Franco?
I've seen a snippet of it from Kermode and Mayo, because I'm seeing some snippets on YouTube. Kermode and Mayo, I really like their reviews. They're very well worded. Obviously, always better than Peter Bradshaw, but again, he's also welcome to be on our podcast as well. But I was listening to the dialogue. It's really pointlessly verbose. I mean, I know it's a Wes Anderson stereotype, but dude needs to get on a different track. Like especially after I've seen the movie that I saw recently. It's not original per se, but the take that it took was very original. The angry black girl and her monster.
Okay.
And which we'll speak about later on in the reviews. But we were saying,
Definitely.
how are you doing, Andrea, before you had to restart your computer?
I am doing very good. I went to see my family today. I watched Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm preparing for Indy 5, knowing that's probably not going to be good, but at least I can watch the first 3 Indiana Jones and enjoy watching those. Which is always a good thing.
Look. I think Chris Tuckerman had a good take about this. Don't go in expecting the movie to recapture the magic of the first 3. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I think if you go into that, and he said it's not a perfect movie, as one would have imagined. But if you manage your expectations, I think it's enjoyable. You know. Like I did with Extraction 2, by the way. That's also a movie I saw recently. Like that one was fucking fantastic. And but again, what happened with Extraction 2 is that Warner took a big chunk of the first act. Oh, Joe is joining us.
Hello, Joe.
Apologies for the interruption and for the tardiness.
Hello. How was dinner, man?
Dinner was good, but it's been a day, as they say.
Okay, it's the force has been restored now that Joe has been with us. How have you been, Joe?
I've been good actually. I've been good, particularly in the watching stuff department. So I'll have quite a bit to talk about today. Other than that, just been busy. As I said, today was a bit of a day. I only got back from like my actual like work day and stuff like that maybe 35 minutes ago. So.
Okay. How's your finger, by the way?
The finger is still in a bandage, but it's slowly getting there.
Okay. Yet Totorju?
Yes, it is what it is. That's all I'll say. What have I missed? Get me up to speed.
No,
Not much.
We are discussing the Prickly Pears reactions of Wes Anderson. Oh yeah, by the way, hi Jan. We have to say hello to a fan. Yeah, because apparently right now in Malta there's the Mediterranean Film Festival going on, and frequent guest Cassandra, friend of the show, told us that Jan is a fan of the show and said hi. So.
Oh, lovely.
Hello, hi Jan.
Indeed. Hello, Jan. Thank you for following us.
Thank you. So,
Franco, you're talking about Extraction 2.
Yeah, Extraction 2. I was like, that one I said it was fucking fantastic. But the problem with Extraction 2 was that one took a huge chunk of the first act. It was very, very promising. And then it's just the movie petered out. Like, there was nothing comparable in the following acts. I just written down in the film journal. And story needs to improve. Otherwise the action. I mean, well done, Sam Hargrave. There's no it's good to see action like this one. You know, it's going towards the John Wick territory apparently, and Idris Elba was a welcome addition. I feel like.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in Extraction 3. To be honest, I think he's going to be a good inclusion for Extraction 3 as well.
They need to improve the story through Ustra because it's. I mean. Plus, it was written by Joe Russo. He's got something against helicopters, that guy. He's destroying helicopters in Secret Invasion. He's not destroying helicopters in Extraction. Solidarity.
True.
Solidarity.
He's got something against writing good scripts as well. So. That's just me.
Anyway. And, And basically, by the way, guys, I met Paul Mescal. But the problem with it was like I was looking at this guy. I'm like, is it him or is it not him? Is it him or is it not him? Because basically he's got a beard now. Most probably it's for the role. Mm-hmm. And I see him anyway. And I said I kept it at the back of my mind. I went to the loo, and then when I came out, he's over there. I just went up to him. Well done for the After Sun performance. It was a great performance. And it's like, oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, nice.
And it's
sweet
like,
guy.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't know how to approach you guys. I don't want to be like stepping on toes. It's like, no worries. Anyway, but before I went away, he stopped me and said, Franco, what's the Ad Lib Podcast all about?
I appreciate the question from Paul Mescal.
This is the second Hollywood actor to ask about the Ad Lib Podcast.
True.
I can't believe we have an Ad Lib on the show.
Jesus. True. And Pedro Pascal asked my friend as well about the Ad Lib Podcast. By the way, I forgot to mention it.
No, actually, Joe, I hope that the Bear season 1 writer, I just sent him an email. Let's hope.
Nice, okay.
Touch wood. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah,
so that he'll be on the podcast.
Not wood. Anyways, to answer, obviously, Paul Mescal, the Ad Lib Podcast, all about movies, all about video games, and all about series. And this week, we've got a bunch of trailers. We've got a trailer for Challengers, which is the upcoming Zendaya movie, which I'm really hyped about. Looks amazing, but we'll discuss it during the trailers. We've got Priscilla. We've got a teaser for Priscilla, which is Sofia Coppola's next movie. We've got also a trailer for Dumb Money, which is a movie about the GameStop stocks, the whole story there. That also looks very good. And Franco just reminded me about a trailer I forgot to include last week, because I was supposed to put this last week, Tree Body Problem, which is a trailer for... Franco, you tell me, I don't know much about the lore behind it.
This is a Netflix series by the Game of Thrones producers. And I haven't read the book. It's based on a Chinese trilogy of books, sci-fi trilogy of books. Sorry for butchering your name. Let me check the author's name. Bear with me a second. I think, Yu Xixin.
Okay.
So and it seems like a good series. I hope they don't go the route of season 8 Game of Thrones.
We'll see.
But
it's all written, right? The story is all written out, so
yeah,
it seems have that problem.
We'll see. Plus, it's only 3 books, and it seems very interesting. It seems like a time. Like it spans many generations. Like you see the old Chinese army in the trailer. You see also like during the communists, what was that called? Was it the Maoist revolution? I'm not much well read in the communist revolution in China.
Are you talking about the cultural revolution of 1960 in the 1960s, right?
Thank you. That's the one. Yes, the Cultural Revolution by Mao Zedong, and
1960s till 1974, I believe.
And there's also, I think, in the future, there's a bit in the future as well. So it looks
all right.
And
we'll talk about it when we see the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So those are the trailers we have. All look very interesting, and there's lots to talk about there. Then we've got a lot of news. Obviously, I know you guys get bored talking about the box office, but this week we have to talk about the box office. Right? It's too spicy not to mention. And the usual stuff: bit of Oppenheimer, bit of Spider-Man here, good and bad stuff. And you'll be surprised by the good stuff. I don't know if you've heard of this, but you'll find out when we talk about the news. And and first reactions to Mission Impossible 7. That's pretty much what we have on the agenda for news. Now today, as we promised a couple of weeks ago, we're also going to be talking about some of our favorite LGBTIQA+ movies. I have 3 movies in my list, which I'll be talking about. And then we also have some reviews. As always, at the end of the episode, we have reviews. This week, we have reviews for Surrounded. We've got a review for The Bear, The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, You Hurt My Feelings. Anything else I'm missing, guys?
No Hard Feelings.
No, wait. You Hurt My Feelings by A24, no? Wait,
You Hurt My Feelings is the Julie Louis-Dreyfus film.
Yeah, and No Hard Feelings?
No Hard Feelings is the
comedy.
I watched it with Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, wait.
Were you watching the wrong movie, Franco?
I was watching. Yeah.
Wait, did you manage to find is You Hurt My Feelings online?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I want to watch that.
Amazing.
Thank you. And I watched Asteroid City as well.
Oh, yes, you watched Asteroid City.
I
Shit.
did.
Oh, shit.
I did.
Oh, shit. That'll be the last review then. Nice. Okay.
Spicy episode.
Nice.
Zesty,
By the way, You
zesty
Hurt My
episode.
Feelings actually looks really good, because now I remember which
I've
one that
had it
is.
on my list for a while.
That's the guy from Game of Thrones, talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Tobias Menzies, yeah.
Tobias Menzies, yeah. He's really good. I want to watch that as well.
The guy, the guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I was liking him because I was. Sorry, am
He's a
I too
very good
loud?
actor.
Am I too
No,
loud
no.
in your?
No, it's fine. Franco.
Okay. But the. I only like an hour in the movie. Okay.
Anyways, shall we get into it then, Franco? Talk about
Tlaqna.
what you've watched this week. Since you're talking about You Hurt My Feelings, might as well talk about it now.
Yeah, You Hurt My Feelings. I'm an hour in. So far, so good. We can talk about it a bit later. Obviously, I have to see it completely to make my judgment. I watched Extraction 2. I watched this one. You know, guys, how much I was complaining about not having like good stories being told. And don't get me wrong, and I know I'm contradicting myself because it is based on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But the take is so original, and the guy has so much potential. I will let you know later. I'm talking obviously about The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, and it was a breath of fresh air. It was a real breath of fresh air. And that's it so far. I look forward to start the Bear season 2 as well. Yeah. That's so far. That's all I have.
Nice. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Joe,
Franco? I also watched Spiderman across the Spiderverse.
Okay.
You're right. The first few moments, I was like struggling to hear what I was saying.
When did you watch it, Franco? Because I know there's a new version now. There should be an updated version. I don't know if Embassy or Eden got it.
I don't know. I've watched it I think now it would be 2 weeks ago. And the cliffhanger, man, what a shitty cliffhanger, man.
Yeah, what a cock tease of an ending, right?
Illustra. All of the cinema went like, oh.
Even me and my friends were like, no, don't stop it now, Jesus.
It's annoying because they just build up the emotional arc and they build it up to like a
Exactly.
peak, and then they go, no.
No.
And it's gonna be really tough for me to go into the sequel with that kind of emotional anticipation for the arc.
You're going to have to rewatch it, Joe. You're going to have to rewatch it.
I'm gonna have to, but like even the fact
You know, in your mind, I know that before I go watch the third one, Beyond the Spider-Verse, I'm going to rewatch Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm gonna have to, but also like this might sound really shitty of me. I shouldn't fucking have to, you know, to get the same feeling. I shouldn't have to rewatch you don't need to. This is a stupid example because it's one of like the best trilogies ever made. You don't need to rewatch The Empire Strikes Back before you watch The Return of the Jedi.
No.
You know?
No, true. But I might be biased because I'm the kind of person who, if I go to watch a movie, I like to rewatch. Like right now, I was telling Franco, I'm rewatching all the Indiana Jones, or all the first 3 Indiana Jones movies. The 4th one doesn't count.
You're leaving out Crystal Skull?
Yes. I hated it so much.
What? Sorry, which movie? What is it? What? Which one? Huh? What? Kristen, what?
On a bleak day in 2008, which never existed.
Is this a Mandela effect? A movie that never occurred?
Anyways, Joe, what about you? Sorry,
no. I was going to tell you that's a good segue as well to the news.
Yes, but we still have some stuff to talk about. Joe,
for me, I have had the TV bug sent straight through me yet again with The Bear. I haven't finished it. I'm on the last episode, but I feel like it's done that thing again where The Bear kind of like in season 1, it kind of felt like the last episode was the one before the last, and then the final episode is just a bit of an epilogue, which it kind of feels like they've done that. So, I mean, I plan to review it on this show, and people might say, "Oh, you can't review it without seeing it as a whole." I fucking can. When something is this good, I can review it when it's that good as a whole. I went to see Asteroid City, the much anticipated, Franco's most anticipated film of the year.
Yeah,
I did a very lonely, but in the end, a very fun trip to go and watch No Hard Feelings as well, the new comedy starring Jennifer Lawrence.
Did you watch it on your own, Joe?
I did, yeah, because my girlfriend was away until Sunday. It was a Saturday, and I found there's a theatre not too far from me where you basically you pay a certain price for a ticket based on the seating. And like they start from like £4 upwards, and even like the £4 seats are good. Like there's a little less leg room, but they're in good places. They're not like in a corner or something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, and I did that to go watch No Hard Feelings, and I get to that in my review. Other than that, I finished 100 Foot Wave, and I'm probably just going to start it again tomorrow because it's the best. Because I need it in my life all the time.
What's this 100 Foot Wave?
100 Foot Wave is a show that my girlfriend is very fed up of me talking about. Because I probably watched the first season 3 times, and season 2 finally released in the UK. But it's an HBO documentary series about big wave surfer and big wave surfing in general. A guy called Garrett McNamara, who discovered this spot in Portugal for like some of the best waves in the world.
Oh, yes.
And it's one, I've told Andrea as well, I'll tell anyone, you don't have to have an interest in surfing or extreme sports to appreciate it. I mean, one thing I forgot to mention to Andrea as well, it's the music composer on this show is Philip Glass, guys. That's how much effort is put into this. It's like a cinematic masterpiece of like documentary filmmaking. And it's more about like the people than it is about the sport and the hardships that they go through, the injuries they suffer, the trauma they suffer. It's really good, and season 2 is fantastic as well. I literally can't wait until next year, until season 3 comes. But yeah, that's been my week.
All right, Joe. Okay. So in my case, I watched the first episode of Secret Invasion. To my surprise, I mean, the movie made me notice how forgettable Captain Marvel was. Because I do not remember any of these characters. I'm supposed to remember these Skrulls, and I have. Oh my God! Were you in the movie? Was I in the cinema when I went to watch it? I'm like, none of it came to me. So after the first episode, I'm like, I really need to watch Captain Marvel, rewatch Captain Marvel. But do I want to rewatch Captain Marvel? That's the thing. To just for this episode. There was some controversy actually about Secret Invasion. I don't know if you heard about it, about the opening credits. They're made by AI, basically. And so there was this big uproar of, understandably, because obviously now there's a whole discussion of AI taking over from artists. The opening credits look really bad. Actually, look horrible. Like I sat down. I watched it with my dad. I sat down. I'm like, something's off here. Like, this does not look good. And then obviously after the whole uproar came up, and I confirmed why they didn't look good. In a way, I understand the thought process behind it, because the whole idea of the Skrulls is that they're infiltrating humanity, right? And they're infiltrating like the politics in the US and so on. So I understand the concept, what is real, what isn't. So I understand that. Still use like real artists. Pay real artists, please. With regard to the Franco, go ahead.
No, because I'm using AI as well for my work, but in the sense that I needed some sort of old paintings that do not exist basically. But I still what I do then, these, like I said, it's a tool. I use them, I cut it out. I have to fix them, by the way, because like the eyes and the hands are horrible. I mean, they could have done that. I mean, they could have taken the AI as a base and then build on it. You cannot just put the AI there and just, okay, that's it, you know? It should be an embellishment, but, you know, I mean, we've been through this discussion so many times.
Exactly.
I mean, and now people have become, they've become very sensitive to what's AI and what's not, like even content writers. For sure. Anyway.
Yeah. So there's with regard to the quality of the first episode, to be honest, I didn't hate it like I saw a lot of people hated it. I thought it was fine. Obviously, the fact that you have an actor of the quality of Samuel L. Jackson really helps. Super charismatic as always. You've got incredible talent in this. You've got Ben Mendelsohn, Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke. So you've got some really, really good talent here. It is a little wasted, huh? It is a bit wasted. Franco?
There is also, what's his name? From Bridgerton. No, not Bridgerton, sorry. Bridgerton. Isn't that the... no.
Bridgerton.
Ben Kingsley idea.
Oh, yeah, all right. Ben Kingsley idea, yes. He's the villain. I don't know if he's actually the villain or not in this. Yeah.
No, sorry, because I was like, is it me? But why are all the villains black in Marvel recently?
I don't think he's actually going to be the villain, though. I think it's going to be one of the many
because
twists.
that's how they're doing inclusivity, Franco, by making them the enemy. That's how.
To be fair, the main protagonist is Samuel L. Jackson, though. So there's that as well.
That's true.
The main protagonist is Samuel L. Jackson.
That's true.
And Olivia Colman is like this evil spy, MI6 spy. So there's that as well. Alright. I'm not going to tell you it's bad. It's not bad. It's obviously not bad. I saw a lot of hate towards it, and I think it's getting a bit too much hate. With regard to the quality of the episode, it's fine. As in, it's perfectly fine. It's a decent 3 out of 5 episode. I'll probably continue watching it because I really like Samuel L. Jackson. There really isn't much to say about it so far. I'll review it at the end. It's 6 episodes, so it's not too long either. The twists are quite predictable, but there was some nice tension. And again, it's nice to see Olivia Colman, Samuel L. Jackson on the screen. There's always that.
I only have one question.
Yeah, Joe?
Is it Andor?
No, it's not Andor. No, it's not Marvel. The Marvel is Andor. No, it's not.
Because it never will be.
Not even close.
Tony Gilroy.
No, the dialogue is not good enough. And listen, with the actors on screen, it could be. Because
Yes,
again,
I
I
mean,
think
you've
Olivia
got-
Colman is,
the talent
in my
comes,
opinion,
but-
the best actress right now.
Yes,
Her,
definitely one.
to be honest, one of, let's maybe not the best, but one of the best. You've got fucking Mr. Charisma Samuel L. Jackson on screen
Yeah.
eating up all his scenes, but they're not given the, that meaty dialogue that really pushes the quality up. There's that step missing, unfortunately.
Riz
Franco.
Fury. No, I was gonna say trivia time from Andor. Apparently, it wasn't supposed to be fight the Empire, but fuck the Empire. It was supposed to be the first F-bomb in the Star Wars universe.
I'm kind of glad they didn't go with
Me
fuck
too.
the Empire because like in Star Wars that feels so out of place. Like
True.
that isn't like
True.
Chris Pratt F-bomb in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That felt earned. You felt like that felt a build up to the point where I need to swear. I haven't seen someone in Star Wars get to the point where they need to swear. So I mean, they don't even say shit in Star Wars. So.
No, it's true. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I think it would remove you from the
Completely.
It would.
Like even, I think what Andor did very like brilliantly, like because even some of the technology that they use, you could see it was what was it, Astra? I don't know if it was a Polaroid camera. There's this kind of parallelity that this is happening in a parallel universe, so to speak, and it's in a universe where they don't swear. So what happened? And what happened?
No, because I just opened the IMDb for the next movie I was going to talk about, and I just found out that Surrounded has a 5.5 on IMDb.
What's Surrounded? I don't think I've heard of that.
It's with Jamie Bell and what's her name?
Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright.
It's really good. I'm going to review it later on.
It's review bombed.
I'm shocked. It's got how the fuck does this movie? I mean, it's not the best movie of the year, but
it's review bombed.
5.5.
That's really weird. It's got 91 on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's review bombed, guys. Because even
89% on like audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, so it could just be idiots on IMDb.
And because even the angry black girl and her monster on Rotten Tomatoes is really faring well, both critics and audience wise. And IMDb it's also 5.5 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's
Letterboxd that doesn't have a rating yet.
Which one of Surrounded?
Surrounded doesn't have a rating yet.
I have some thoughts about. Now I'll talk about it in the review, obviously. But that's the next movie I watched, Surrounded, with Letitia Wright. Amazing performance by her, but we'll talk about it later on. Very interesting movie. I'm glad I watched it. Not the most amazing movie I've ever watched, but I have some thoughts about it. We'll discuss it later on. I've been watching The White Lotus with my girlfriend. It's been a blast. I've been enjoying season 1 so much. Oh my god, it's so good. It's again, when I tell you some stuff is like made for me, like this is made for me. Like Jennifer Coolidge's character is incredible. Oh my god.
Tanya, incredible.
Oh my god, she's so good. Everything she does makes me laugh. In that series. And
I want to ask you about a certain scene, but it's also like a bit of a spoiler. How many episodes have you watched?
I've watched. How many have I watched? I think 3 or 4 episodes. I think I've watched 4 episodes now.
You might have seen it. The beach scene involving ashes. Did you get to that?
Yes. Oh my god, it's so good. The moment when she starts throwing the ash in the air. Oh, Madonna. And even on the boat, I was crying on the boat. I was crying. And it was something. I was like, I really can imagine being in the couple's place and being there and watching this crazy. But at the same time, I really hate them as well. So I'm like, I'm glad it happened to them. Yeah. Like, I just love watching people I hate on screen. It's just, I love it. And HBO do it so well. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, by the way, Joe, since we're talking about hating people on HBO series. You haven't updated us on the idol.
Okay, I'll give you a really quick update right now. I haven't watched the penultimate episode, which is the episode that came out just yesterday. But I have watched the first 3. What the fuck is going on in this show?
Episode 3 was the shopping one. Was it the shopping one? Yes, I remember reading that news last week.
Like, it opens with like a scene of like the fucking Weekend threatening to curb stomp a guy because he looks.
Yes, I saw that scene. I saw that scene on Twitter. Oh my god.
I don't know. and also, we need to talk about what's going on with the show. This show was confirmed, apart from when it was announced, but it was confirmed when it released 3 weeks ago now, and when it premiered at Cannes Film Festival, that it would be a 1-season show for now, with a possibility for season 2 of 6 episodes. And that's when I got confused, because I literally just turned on Now TV. My girlfriend's sitting next to me watching Barry with headphones on, and I saw that like it says The Idol, like the current episode, is the penultimate episode. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's only been 4 episodes. Like, how the fuck is it already, like, what happened to episode 6?
It got
Franco
curbed.
has a theory. Franco has a theory.
Unless
got
episode
stopped
5 is
the
going to be
weekend.
like, yeah, unless episode 5 is going to be like a longer episode. But like, I don't know.
It's so bad they had to cut
like
out.
my biggest like my girlfriend came back on Sunday and we watched episode 3 like as soon as she landed because it's the perfect way to come back home, I guess. And like by the end of the episode, we both just kind of looked at each other. We're like, this is going nowhere. Like nothing happens. Like Jocelyn doesn't have a character because she's never alone. She's always with someone who does something for her or tells her what to do. And everyone just keeps reminding her that her mother is dead. And in the latest episode, there was some trauma about her mother. And then the weekend makes her relive that trauma by beating her up with a hairbrush. And it's again, guys, I can't stress it. I have to know how this ends. So I will keep watching it. But it's my review of the Idol so far is it's fucking bizarre. I don't like, and apparently, like I've heard, only about 50% of it was scripted. So this feels like too.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, this feels like two rich, influential people who love the smell of their own farts, just going like, let's see what we can do with this concept. By the two rich, influential people, I mean The Weeknd and Sam Levinson.
Levinson.
Very disappointed in Sam Levinson because I liked all his work previous to this. The bad thing is like some parts of it are really good. Like it looks beautiful. Some of it is well shot. God bless. Guys, I'm a full-on atheist, but God bless Lily Rose Depp because she is doing a lot with nothing. Like the fact that I can actually at times feel bad for her character just shows how much she's actually giving to this, because it's being given a centimeter and taking a mile is what she's doing.
And it's such a it's the weird thing about the movie, what I remember thinking about in the first, and we talked about it already, Joe, but it's so beautiful. The colors are so beautiful in it.
It's on beautiful,
but at the same time, like you said, it's so the cinematography is awful.
Doesn't make sense.
Then,
doesn't make sense.
Which is weird, because when you've got such beautiful colors and such an amazing series shot on film, then this camera work is just
this
makes
scene,
no sense.
This episode also featured The Weeknd jacking off inside a shop in a way that, like, I mean, I'm a male, not that I've seen many males jack off in my life, but no one jacks off like that. It's just no one does. It's impossible, I think.
Apparently, The Weeknd does, though.
apparently, yes. Apparently, when The Weeknd has an orgasm, it's this like groundbreaking earthquake of an orgasm. Like,
oh my god!
Which I mean, if he does, fair play.
So, and the last thing I watched, I just watched it before I got home. I was watching it with my dad. Obviously, like I said just a few minutes ago, before I go watch a new movie from a series, I like to watch the previous movies. And so I rewatched Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is personally one of my all-time favorite movies. What can I say about Raiders of the Lost Ark? It's just one of the best movies I've ever watched. The action is so good. The soundtrack just makes me happy. Whenever I hear the theme song, I just feel good. It's a really feel-good movie, and it's the kind of movie that I can watch again and again and again, and I'll just enjoy it and love it a bit more each time. Obviously, like Franco, you were telling me before, I shouldn't go into the next Indiana Jones movie expecting
because
rekindle that magic, right?
Because Chris Tuckman, he agrees with you that he didn't like Crystal Skull that much. It was an okay movie for him. But he said, I think he said a really good thing, like, don't go in the Dial of Destiny expecting the movie to recapture the magic that was the first three. So I think that's what it is, you know. It's like I'm not going to go for a Transformers movie expecting a alleged Godfather, you know.
Yeah.
And he said that he really liked. He said that it's not a perfect movie by any means. But the set pieces, I mean, you have a capable director with James Mangold as far as action pieces are concerned.
Yes. Obviously, the fact that Spielberg is not directing it worries me a little bit.
I mean,
because obviously,
didn't he do Crystal Skull?
But he did do Crystal Skull, exactly. So
He's had Spielberg is great, but he's had some duds.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, let's just talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark, the direction in this.
Yeah.
Wow, just wow.
It's
Like
hard to
every
catch that
shot.
lightning in a bottle again.
Yes. Every shot, every scene, the action is so beautifully shot. There are some scenes where like the focus is on Indy's eye. Oh, amazing stuff. It's really, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff overall. Anyways, and that puts me in a really, really good mood. So,
Okay.
though that's our week basically, guys. I think we can move on now to talking about the trailers. And the first trailer we have to talk about is Tree Body Problem, which I am going to share with you now.
And before we go into the Tree Body Problem, our audiences should do 3 things: like, comment, and subscribe.
Tree Body
And-
Problem, 3 things to do.
3 things to do, and follow us on Facebook, on our always updated Facebook, on our always updated Instagram, on our always updated TikTok. But yeah, you can also follow us on our personal Instagram as well.
Exactly.
All right.
Okies. So, Tree Body Problem, which is another
No, sorry.
trailer.
Perineminov got Greta Lee. Damn it.
1 second.
mean-
This is very weird. I cannot see that video on my screen, but I can see it in the recording on Riverside.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
weird.
on my
Maybe
screen
Riverside
right
wants
now.
ads now.
On my screen, I'm not seeing it. But when I look at my middle screen, I can see it on the recording on Riverside. But when I look at the screen where I have this tab open, I cannot see it.
That's weird.
This is super, super weird.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, so Tree Body Problem, which got its first trailer and also release window. This was shown in the Netflix fan event Tadam in Brazil, which we talked about last week, but I forgot to mention this, Joe. Anyways, during their global fan event Tadam in Sao Paulo, Netflix revealed important information about some of the upcoming projects. One of them was Tree Body Problem, the highly anticipated sci-fi series that hails from Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So far, we hadn't seen any footage, but we can now have a look at the teaser. Teaser for Tree Body Problem reveals a complex story with several ramifications that extend through space and time. Story kicks off in 1960s China when a woman's decision impacts the lives of several scientists in the present. Teaser trailer also suggests a huge threat is about to overcome humanity, but we'll only know more about it when the series premieres in January 2024. So, we can have a look at the trailer. To be honest, it looks interesting. Let's put it that way. Franco, you know a little bit about kind of like the lore behind it, right? Can you tell us a bit about it?
Like I said, it's based on a book, on a best-selling book, sci-fi book by Yu Cixin, and I'm sorry if I butchered the name. And it seems like you can see from the trailer alone. It seems like it's gonna. There's the guy from Game of Thrones as well. For me, it looks interesting. I mean, the teaser captured my interest, and I think there's the connection goes through time, and you see like old China as well, in the future, in the present. I'm looking forward, but January 2024. I really like that shot. I really like that shot when she puts the visor on, because there's no camera whatsoever. I'm really interested on how they did that shot.
True.
Maybe like the
It's
Matrix
so good.
doorknob shot.
Yeah,
True.
it's so good.
True.
So I'm a bit distracted because there's been breaking news, guys.
Oh, okay.
Tell us, Joe.
Superman and Lois Lane have officially been cast.
Oh my God. Woo!
From
My God.
Variety. So David Corenswet will be playing Superman, and Rachel Brosnahan will be playing Lois Lane. I'm a big fan of Rachel Brosnahan. I don't
Shit.
think I know David Corenswet from anything, but I'm looking him up. What is?
Where's this?
I
On
saw
Variety.
the Variety 39 seconds ago have reported. Oh, he was in Pearl. He was the cinema guy. The projectionist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lol.
I like that they're going with a more or less unknown. I like that. And
Lol.
Rachel Brosnahan was in Marvelous Miss Maisel, which according to fans of the show is fantastic, and even critics love it. But she was in a really good film, which I'm pretty sure I'm the only person on earth that watched, called I'm Your Woman, which was a really, really good little thriller.
Oh, that's wait. I'm Your Woman?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. No.
I'm she was also in what's the Kevin Spacey one, the political one, House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Yes.
She was
House
in
of
that
Cards.
for a bit as well.
So breaking news for our
Breaking
listeners and
news.
viewers. Oh,
Jesus.
I like it. Yeah,
he's got the jawline.
yeah. He does.
Got the jawline.
A lot of people seem to be annoyed because they're saying like, "Oh, just get the guy who looks like Henry Cavill, but not Henry Cavill."
we have Harry Cavill at home.
Yeah,
How old is he? Oh, he's my age. He's 1993, 30 then.
Still?
wow, that guy's only a year older than me.
Jesus. He looks older than.
What am I doing with my life?
Is he my age though?
This guy's
looks older than
Superman.
me.
Oh man.
Interesting. So I'm looking at the stuff he's been on. He was obviously the projectionist in Pearl.
Yeah,
We Own This City, which I really need to watch this summer. He was in that. David McDougall, The Politician. Have you watched this, guys? The Politician? It's a
Nope.
TV series. Yeah, House of Cards. Reed. Who was Reed in House of Cards? I really do not remember. A Reed. I watched all of House of Cards before, obviously, the whole Kevin Spacey thing. Not much else. Affairs of State, which is like a popular series, right? Not a lot, to be honest. The Politician looks interesting. I'm looking at it now, but not a lot. It's an interesting. I was really curious if they were going to go with a household name or like with someone who's no one barely knows. And it seems like they've gone with someone who's been in a few movies and series, but nothing like too big. Let's put it that way. With David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan. How do you say her surname?
Brosnahan. Yeah, she's
Brosnahan?
very good. The things I have seen her in, she's been very, very good. So, and she's gotten a lot of acclaim for the TV series she starred in, Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Even
And
there-
also in House of Cards.
Yeah,
David Corenswet in Pearl. He held his own against.
no,
what's her name?
I thought he was really good. I remember thinking that this guy looks like someone that I can't really place, but his role was pretty crucial in what he had to do.
Yeah. Against Mia Goth, especially when he's like no more. Like there was a certain he could show a sense of vulnerability as well. So it might be interesting. He's got the range. I feel he's got the range.
I think in the case of Rachel Brosnahan, I think that's a very like a very obvious casting. Now you look at it
Yeah,
with how successful Marvelous Mrs. Maisel has been.
yeah.
Like on all I think she's won a few Emmys, right, for it. I believe one primetime Emmy. Yeah, she won one Emmy for it.
Yeah,
So
she's been nominated a couple of times as well. And as
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
like she had like the film I'm Your Woman. It was actually like
Yeah.
a difficult role because it's mainly just her on screen with her baby half the time, and she was very.
Okay.
I remember watching that and being like, "Wow, this is like one to watch." She's very good. And also, they're like the same age as well. They're both like not old. I mean, when Henry Cavill took on Superman, he was already 40, I think. So
oh my God, she was the prostitute in House of Cards. Did you guys watch House of Cards?
I didn't watch House of Cards.
Oh
okay.
shit! She was the prostitute who ends up in a relationship with his chief of staff, and then has a very brutal ending. Lalo, it's been a while. She's grown now. But yeah, interesting. I think that casting is a very obvious casting. In the case of David Corenswet, it'll be interesting to see if he can hold his own in a obviously what's going to be a lot of pressure because the role of Superman is going to have a lot of pressure.
I'm sure he can, but like he's quite lucky that like Superman is kind of, and like I do love Superman. he is one of the blander characters in comic books. Where
yes,
he
but
has, it depends what kind of direction they're going.
Yes,
with. Like
exactly.
Zack Snyder tried to get at that like a deeper Superman, and because he's not a very good writer, he didn't really go there. But if you look at like Christopher Reeve's Superman, he kind of just had to like look good in the suit, and pull off the righteousness, which I don't think that's what James Gunn's going to do.
Going for
No,
I hope he doesn't. I want to see a Superman.
I think it'll be a mixture of both.
Yeah.
I think it'll be like James Gunn always does, like a bit. Like there will be some comedy, definitely. Definitely there will be some comedy, but it's not going to be a comedy. Like you're going to have a good mixture of like super serious moments mixed with some humor. And I think I know, knowing that James Gunn is helming this, I'm super confident in this. Super confident in this. So I'm not worried at all at the casting or at all. So I trust James Gunn with my life, to be honest. So super. This is breaking news. Jesus, nice. Back to the trailer. Like this is really underwhelming now. Joe, I don't know if you've heard about this series or about the book.
I haven't.
Which it's based.
I am completely ignorant to it. That looks like the Matrix right there.
It does indeed. Talking about the Matrix. Yeah. But I think there's some interesting shots and then some interesting effects in this. There was one shot in particular that caught my attention. It's this one. Yeah, it's this scene here, which looks cool. For a Netflix series, I have to admit it does look cool. Definitely better than the last anime series we talked about, Joe, last week, remember?
Yes,
my God.
That looked like dog shit.
Oh
Which
my God.
one?
Oh,
Which one was it?
no, now I have to
One-
block
one-
the whole
One
scene
Piece
again.
live action.
Because now Netflix will hear that.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
God.
no.
Now Netflix's AI will hear that and block our podcast again. God damn it. Anyways, next, like I said, we got a teaser trailer for Sofia Coppola's next movie, Priscilla, which is interesting. Jacob Elordi and Kaylee Spiney. These surnames.
I actually wanted Jacob Elordi for Superman. He was my fan
Yes,
casting.
that would have been
Yeah,
interesting.
we remember
Very
that.
good casting. It'll be interesting to see the Elvis Presley relationship with Priscilla, obviously, through the female gaze, basically, which is what this movie seems to be going for. We can have a quick look at the trailer. Franco.
Now that I'm thinking about it, considering that Sofia Coppola did the Virgin Suicides, the way she deals with girlhood and womanhood, I think she's quite fit for this role, for this story, because we remember, I mean, Priscilla Presley, she was underage when she met
Yes.
Elvis. Let's never forget that. So it's going to be an interesting outlook. I have a love-hate relationship with Sofia Coppola, especially after I forgot what's it called. The one with Bill Murray.
Oh God, what was that one?
The one that no one watched.
I
I
watched
watched-
it, but I don't remember it. The one with Bill Murray.
On the
Rocks.
On
Yeah,
On the Rocks.
I remember watching it.
Bill Murray was okay, but it was like first world problems almost. I mean, it's like okay, that's it. You know.
It was okay. It was okay. That's all I remember about it. To be honest,
No.
I don't have.
No, but then, for example, I remember liking Somewhere. You know,
Somewhere. I don't think I watched that.
I haven't watched, and then I still haven't watched The Beguiled and Bling Ring. Like I skipped Marie Antoinette, but my favorite of Sofia Coppola is The Virgin Suicides
Oh, Marie
and Lost in
Antoinette, I
Translation.
watched.
and
That
Lost in
was-
Translation. Let's not forget Lost in Translation.
Obviously, Lost in Translation.
Yeah, I think she retains a lot of points just for making Lost in Translation.
Fair
True.
enough.
True. But I think this is interesting as well. It's within her how shall I say, scope.
Yeah, definitely in her wheelhouse. It definitely looks better than Baz Luhrmann's Elvis so far. So. You hear that, Bruce? I know you're listening.
I
No,
don't
Bruce-
think. Go ahead, Franco.
Bruce is recovering from the last episode of Love Island because he was directing.
Lalo miskin.
Anyway,
Minxiex kellu jaddi. But last thing I wanted to mention was I don't think she's ever hit the highs of Lost in Translation with regard to the quality of her movies, right? I don't think.
no,
I haven't watched much of her work. I watched Marie Antoinette, I watched Lost in Translation, I watched On the Rocks. Apart from that, I don't think I've watched anything else.
have a look. Have a look at somewhere. Somewhere is quite good. Stephen
Okay.
Dorff. Imagine to have a good performance from Stephen Dorff.
Okay,
It's
I'll have a look at
Chihuahua.
that somewhere. Okay, so Priscilla, moving on to this one looks interesting. This one looks very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dumb Money. So the trailer on the GameStop stock saga brought to big screen with Pete Davidson, another movie with Pete Davidson, Seth Rogen, and Paul Dano, which is, I think, the perfect casting for a movie like this.
Oh, it's a
official
stacked
trailer.
cast. It's a really stacked cast. Not just Paul Dano. There's Sebastian Stan. There's also America Ferrara. There's also Shailene Woodley. It's
wow, okay.
Nick Offerman as well.
Yeah.
I
Big
mean,
cast.
it's in
So-
the based on author Ben Mesrich, The Antisocial Network. I'd love to read the books because I like these non-fiction books myself. And it looks in the vein of Adam McKay, so it's which is a compliment. I'm not saying that it's derivative. I think Craig Gillespie will do his own thing as well.
Yeah.
Joe.
This is one of like my favorite like news stories and just like general happenings in my lifetime. That a bunch of like nerds decided to get together to fucking freeze Wall Street, and they hit a bunch of hedge fund owners hard. So I'm really excited. I don't know if we needed it this soon. This is like one of the things that like kind of like irks me about like Hollywood today. Like I mean like I know it's like really fresh, but you just fucking know we're gonna get a film about the fucking Titan submersible, and like and then the news that happened this week. You just fucking know that's gonna happen.
Hold the line. I remember everyone tweeting, hold the line.
Yeah.
Huddle the line.
But like you're saying, it's so fresh in my mind. Like I
Yeah.
literally can remember all the stuff happening. Like I can remember it very clearly.
And I like Craig Gillespie a lot. Like I really liked I, Tonya. I thought it was a really, really clever way to do that kind of sports biopic. And I really, really like a criminally underseen film of his, Lars and the Real
Cruella. Cruella is what I'm
Actually,
gonna say.
Cruella, I remember watching that on Disney Plus with my girlfriend. I was ready to like hate watch it and shit on it. Wasn't that bad?
It wasn't hate.
It was
I never got the hate.
Well,
it got
it was well directed. Like,
really well directed.
Yeah.
Really well directed. Exactly.
Guys, the problem with Cruella was it
we
was
didn't need
okay.
it. We didn't need it, but it was okay.
But we
but
don't
it-
need a lot
but-
of movies. And
Yes.
No,
we still
but
get them.
but the thing is this like bad people can become good too. Like not
always,
really,
no.
not always.
Yeah.
It's kind of a gaslighting sort of movie, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
if that were about a real character, I'd like a real person, I'd probably agree with you more. But the fact that it's about
it's
a
a
person that wants to
fictional
turn
character.
dogs into a jacket, I don't really care.
No, but that was what made the villain, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe call me a purist or call me a classicist, but
Yeah, again, I don't think we needed a humanization of Cruella de Vil from a film that was originally made in the 50s, you know?
No, but for what it's worth, I had a really good time watching
Yeah, no,
it.
there
I'm
were
just-
there were definitely positives to take out of it. I went in to absolutely hate watch it, but I was like, this is actually okay.
I remember really liking the soundtrack. The soundtrack I really liked.
I wasn't sold, and the moment they revealed that what happened with the dogs and whatnot, and how she hated the dogs and whatnot, it was like it was anyway. But I'm looking forward for this. It's a stacked cast: Paul Dano, Pete Davidson, America Ferrera, Rick Offerman, Anthony Ramos, Sebastian Stan, Siley Woodley, Seth Rogen.
It's a very good cast.
It's a really good cast. Let's hope it's good. We wait and see as well.
I'm happy to see Shailene Woodley back in something which is substantial, because she kind
And
of went off the radar for a bit.
Out of all Marvel people, Sebastian Stan has got some interesting roles.
Yeah, he likes doing interesting stuff. I mean, he did Pam and Tommy, the television show. He did Fresh as well.
Yeah. He's the one
been doing some interesting stuff. It's true.
Yeah, hopefully he never has to be the Winter Soldier ever again.
And yeah, I mean that's it. So that's I was gonna say. It's like, because I was looking forward to see Chris Evans, just put his, how shall I say, spread his wings in something. Chris Hemsworth,
the best of movies though. Chris Hemsworth, Extraction, that's been his
yeah.
saving grace.
And like I said, if they really put emphasis on the story, Chris Hemsworth can carry it. But they tried
he can pull it off. Yes.
With his backstory, not to say they didn't, but it wasn't. There was something missing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Moving on to the last trailer of the day, and this is probably the one I'm most excited for. Challengers, Luca Guadagnino's next movie, starring another one of my idols.
One of your crushes, Josh O'Connor.
I'll just say idols. Zendaya, obviously, Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor, obviously, also starring, and I don't know how to talk about it, but let's just say a tennis star gets into a threesome.
Yes, essentially. and Tom Holland cries himself to sleep.
And oh my God, Franco, you mentioned the Tom Holland memes.
Zoomer match point, I would call it.
Yeah.
It looks like Zoomer match point.
It does look a bit like a Zoomer movie.
I'm really glad Mike Feist is continuing to do films, because he was the thing I liked the most about Spielberg's West Side Story. I thought he was fantastic in it, like a genuine standout from anything in that film. And apparently he had said after that, like, he didn't know if he wanted to continue acting. He said he might just go live in a van somewhere. But it's good to see that he's not only continue acting, but he's working with great directors such as Luca Guadagnino. So.
Tell me Zendaya doesn't pull off the tennis superstar.
Yeah, she does.
She looks incredible in this.
Yeah.
She really does look like pull off the whole tennis superstar.
I think they all do, because tennis players have like a certain look and build to them, where they're kind
she has.
This is no disrespect to tennis players, but they're kind of like really athletic dorks. especially like the men. Like, if you think about the women, like you would think like the Williams sisters. Okay, they were like absolute, like, full-on professional athletes, and they looked like it. But the men tend to just look like dorks that can play tennis. So I think it's really good casting with Josh O'Connor and Mike Feist, because like, I mean, they are both very good-looking men, but they do have that kind of like dorky, nerdy look about them as well. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. Very excited.
I haven't seen his. What's his? The one before this one. What's it called? Bones and All.
Bones and All. Yeah, that's a very good film. I
haven't watched it yet. True. I haven't watched it
Definitely
yet either.
Worth a watch.
Yeah. And still haven't watched his take on Suspiria.
That's also good. Underrated.
I
was going to say, actually, funnily enough, as I told Andrea today, I said it in our group chat. I don't know if Franco missed it, but today I got my approval for accreditation for Venice Film Festival.
Oh yeah, by the way, congratulations.
Congrats, Joe.
The reason for that being because when I was invited to Venice Film Festival, that was 5 years ago at the 75th Venice Film Festival. So myself and two of my friends that I made at that festival, we said, look, it's been 5 years, this is the 80th, let's make it a point to go. Like, it won't be too expensive, and so far we've actually been correct about that. But the funny thing is, the last time we were at that festival, Luca Guadagnino premiered Suspiria there.
Oh, okay.
And we were there for that. And now it's looking like, allegedly, a lot of people believe that Challengers is going to be a film at Venice Film Festival, which I hope and I pray to the film gods for, because to be able to see it there would be fantastic. But it would be a funny coincidence. And
invite him on the podcast. Hopefully he will ask.
I'm going to invite every single person I see on the podcast in Venice. Just
and hopefully He'll ask you as well what the Ad Lib podcast is all about.
Probably. I mean, I'm probably going to get invited onto the red carpet, and they're going to be like, "This is the guy from the Ad Lib podcast. Can you please tell us what it's all about?" And now we've lost Andrea, so I guess I'll continue on my anecdote.
All right. Did you hear that, Andrea? Or shall
No, because I cut out for a few seconds.
No, we just said that I'm probably going to get asked onto the red carpet at Venice, and I'm going to be asked what the Ad Lib podcast is all about.
Nice. In that case, you'll have to tell them, Joe.
Yes, obviously. Because I told Franco, I'm just going to ask everyone on the podcast. Venice is, I mean, Franco, you've been to Berlin Film Festival, but Venice is a weird one because the festival is
it's underwater.
Well, it could be if it rains really hard. It's not actually in Venice. Like, it's not like in those, like you picture Venice, like those tiny streets and like all the canals and stuff. It's actually on an island about 30 minutes from Venice called Lido. So it's really by itself, and because it's so by itself, celebrities and like directors and stuff don't really need to worry about like having like security on them and stuff like that. So, I mean, one of my friends, David, friend of the show, who I'm going to be going to the festival with, he had arrived a day before me when we had gone 5 years ago, and he saw Alejandro Inarritu just like in a supermarket, like on Lido, just like doing his shopping kind of thing. It's the kind of place like you could be walking down the street and like you just see like, I mean, that's how he met Taika Waititi. Like he just met Taika Waititi whilst he was like on the way into his hotel.
Okay.
It's a strange festival, but a very nice one. I'm really excited to be going back.
Joe brushing shoulders with celebrities. Oh, look, Joe, we've seen you grow, Joe.
They're going to be brushing shoulders with me by the sound of it, because they all podcast.
You know, but speaking of which, I've been wondering with all these celebrities, because apparently there was also Woody Harrelson in Malta as well.
Yeah,
I think he was shooting with Simu as well. It's really interesting that they haven't had, again, touch wood, and I think it's luckily enough they didn't have any problems with paparazzi or people hounding them. Like for Pedro Pascal to waltz in the St. James Cinema and not being bothered at all by people and just being down to earth. Because even when I met Pedro Pascal, he was just chilling. People were not bothering him. I bothered him, but I mean. But
I suppose in Malta it's like, I don't think people really give a shit unless like you're a certain kind of celebrity. I feel like
I think the same.
There'd be a lot more of a reaction if like, I don't know. If one of the Kardashians came to the island.
True.
I was gonna say,
a big football player, someone like that. Like if David Beckham came to Malta, like everyone would fucking hear about it.
Nah, they said they saw Mbappe on the way to Brizabuja, and no, I was gonna say the contestants of Love Island are much more famous than Paul Mescal apparently.
Exactly.
Anyway,
which says a lot. Anyways, moving on to the news. After discussing the trailers, and the first news we have to talk about, obviously, like how can we not talk about it, is the box office news. Because, Jesus Christ. The Flash. I mean, last week me and Joe discussed The Flash, and like we had a good time watching it, but obviously it had its issues, right? But it released to 55 million, which is not great. Now, to be clear, The Flash collapses by 73%. Now, for a movie, every movie, except for like one-off exceptions, will have a big drop. 50% drop is a very good drop from week 1 to week 2, from weekend 1 to weekend 2. 50% drop is usually positive, it's good. 60% is decent, is quite good as well. Anything above 60, you start to worry. 73%, especially when you only have a 55 million release. And remember, here we're not talking about an indie movie which was released and no one heard of. We're talking about a big budget movie helmed by a big star with a big character, The Flash, as part of the DCEU. 73% drop is an absolute disaster, this means that this movie is probably not going to make 200 million, not going to touch 200 million box office returns, which is an absolute disaster.
So they missed an opportunity to call it the flush down the toilet.
Flash. Now, to add to this, I just read a report, but unfortunately I think I closed it. I just read a report that if Warner Brothers did not release The Flash, they would actually have lost less money, if you can believe that. If they actually just canned it like they did with Batgirl. That was Batgirl, right? The movie that they
got a big tax refund for Batgirl.
Yeah.
As well, so.
So here's the report. So The Flash should have been cancelled if Warner Brothers wanted to make money. Film is reportedly on track to lose the studio an estimated $200 million. So box office analysts tweeted that they are likely to reach, so they will make at least 280 million. At the worldwide, though I was talking about domestic, obviously. However, given that the film has reported 190 million budget, combined with the fact that studios usually spend at least half of that on advertisements and so on, probably canning the whole thing would have lost them less money, which is like shocking to mention. So Joe, last week we talked about this. Franco.
Yeah.
Your thoughts about this? Why has it been such a disaster for The Flash?
I mean, because Zaslav is a very smart person, no, I guess. So that's one thing. And secondly, I have no idea. I haven't watched The Flash, to be honest. Could be. I think there is a bit of superhero fatigue. Spiderverse notwithstanding, of course. And honestly, I don't know. Maybe they were expecting something different. Also, I heard that the CGI was not up to standard as well.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was
pretty bad.
It's not good CGI.
Anyway,
Joe, I don't know if you want to add anything to it, because obviously we discussed it last week.
Nah, I don't think so. It's pretty dry.
Not much to add on to that. But I thought this was interesting. Also, the fact that Across the Spiderverse reached #1 of the box office again. Like, it's been out for how many weeks now? It's been out for over a month. No, it has been at least a month.
About a month, yeah.
And the fact that it reaches
June
#1
9th,
again
I think it came out.
after being out for already a month, or a little less than a month, is quite impressive. No Hard Feelings opens to 15 million, which I don't know, like the budget of No Hard Feelings.
Its budget was 45 million, but I mean, it's actually exceeded expectations. It was projected to make about 11.
The word of mouth, I think, has been very positive for it. So that's always a good thing. So yeah, it's interesting that Across the Spider-Verse, which has generated 560 million globally, which I think for a movie like Spider-Verse is very good.
Ooh, Elemental.
And Elemental, but however, still, even though Elemental did very poorly in the first week, it had quite a minimal drop, I believe. Remained in second place with 18.5 million. Brings its domestic tally to 65 million and global total to $121 million. So dropping only 37% from the prior weekend. It landed the worst start in modern history for Pixar, so it will need to remain the de facto choice for family audiences to justify its $200 million price tag. And to be honest, this is something we actually can talk about. Pixar's recent movies have been box office disasters. Like, think about all of their releases.
They've all been great as well.
Yeah, and they've also
Strange World.
been great.
Since Soul, there's been like not really much noteworthy which has released in theaters. Like Turning Red,
which is
released in theaters.
Which is funny enough, because some of the animators in Spider-Verse also worked on Elemental, eh?
Interesting.
But apparently there's a good respectable community of animators working together. Yeah, there were some. What was it? Yes. There were some Easter eggs in the Spider-Verse and the previous Spider-Verse movie. Like some animators that worked on Elemental were actually voicing or some characters were based on them. So
yes. Talking about animators, then might as well get into this news piece. Because we have two big pieces of news which I will join into one. First of all, the fact that I think it was quite clear, like Joe had explained, that there's no way that Beyond the Spiderverse will be releasing in March 2024. My assumption when they mentioned March 2024 was that they've done most of the animation work already whilst they were working on Across the Spiderverse. This does not seem to be the case. Now, to add on to this, so obviously it has been a complete success. However, that standard hasn't come easy, as a new report reveals the amount of backbreaking work required for the film to be completed on. The report reveals the dire working conditions that animators and artists had to adjust to while working on the film, leading to the exit of 100 people before the release of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in early June. Now, I've seen different reactions to this news piece, this whole unsustainable conditions. The fact that they had to work for 11, 12 hours a day for like months. I've been seeing people reacting like, oh, animators having to actually work for once. Whoa. And I've obviously seen others, you know, giving their support to the animators themselves. Listen, it's a demanding job, but I don't know if 11, 12-hour work days are the right way.
7 days a week, of course.
7 days a week, 7 days a week,
I mean,
exactly.
It's literally illegal to do that. Like,
And there's that.
If that's, I'm sorry, I'm just reading. It's easy to make a movie if you just say, don't plan anything. The second animator edit. You tell the artist, come up with the stuff, create the footage, and then I decide which direction to go. How I hate that kind of work. I mean, fucking plan it, guys. If you know where the story is going, why the extra work? Plus, you know that you've got good animators. We've seen what kind of movies Spider-Verse are. So give them a direction. They're waiting for a direction. It's not like Lord and Miller are fucking... Not Lord and Miller, but apparently Miller had the final say, right? Yeah,
yes,
no, Lord, Phil Lord.
Phil Lord sought final approval on every sequence in the movie. So there was a lot of min-maxing kind of in the whole process. I'm conflicted on this because obviously this is my favorite movie of the year so far, and by far. Like, there's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and the next movie, and the animation was absolutely insane. Like, I've never seen this kind of animation. Although
I have to comment, pero Andrea, it was too much sometimes. It was too much, and it needs some sort of not restraint in the sense of not being fleshy, but sometimes it was really, really like, please, I need something calm right now. Because even the emotional moments, like having the background melting, and I understand why. There was an intention behind it. So at least there was an intention behind it, but it was distracting, real distracting, you know.
Yeah, I feel like
for over a year, Jesus.
It's a bit contradictory of us to complain about too much CGI in a certain film, and then not have the same sort of argument. Because like, I love Across the Spider-Verse. I really enjoyed it. I
enjoyed it as well. Just to make it clear,
I have very little problems with it, although I do have some problems with it. But even there were points where I was just like, I can't take in everything that's going on over here. Like, it's just impossible for me. Like, in the same way that, like, at the end of like a big Marvel movie, like the end of Endgame, for example, where there's just so much going on screen at the same time, we were just like, guys, maybe next time, maybe 10% less.
Yeah, that's all it needed. That's true. It's just 10, even 20, I would go as far as to say, but it's just more focused.
I kind of disagree on this. It was like, everything is so beautiful on screen. Like, why should they?
It is, but I want to be able to.
It
see
is,
well, that's why a rewatch deserves a rewatch.
But again, a film should stand by itself, shouldn't it?
Yes, but I think Across the Spider-Verse does stand on its own.
Yeah, but for example, the thing I saw it much. Funny enough, it was the favorite version, my favorite version of Spider-Man. Oh my god, Padra Parkav of the Indian Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yes.
from Mountbatten, yeah.
Mountbatten. That I like the design, but then again, all those buildings and stuff. Like I couldn't keep track of which building was falling or what
Yeah.
was going to happen. It's and even though it's like you said, though, Andrea, it was beautiful to look at. Like the scene where he's talking to his father, and you see the plastic flowing like waves.
Yeah.
But okay, it looks beautiful, but was it really necessary? In all honesty,
Some of it I think
it was beautiful.
It's a bit of a flex, yes.
it was a flex. Yeah.
And like on the thing of like a rewatch as well, my main problem with rewatching this film, I'm never going to rewatch this film unless I decide, which I probably will have to, decide to rewatch it before the third one comes out. This kind of film has very little rewatchability to me because of the way it ends. Because if I sit down in future and I go, you know what, I really feel like Spider-Verse, and I decide to watch Across the Spider-Verse, I'm going to have to watch Beyond the Spider-Verse after that in order to be emotionally fulfilled by the end of it.
But to move on, I think this out of this whole conundrum, there's a positive news about it, that they did push the release date.
So, like I was saying, there's been progress on the pre-production side of things, but as far as the production side goes, the only progress that's been made on the third one is any exploration or tests that were done before the movie was split into two parts. So they've literally done nothing on Beyond the Spider-Verse. So obviously, there's no way they're ever going to release it on March 2024.
No, there's no way in hell. I'm going to say earliest 2026.
And
Probably.
again,
By the way, guys, I just wanted to mention this. Have you ever heard any of Bad Bunny's songs? I haven't.
No.
I know he's quite popular in Mexico.
Who is he?
He's a very famous Latino Latinx singer.
He's the guy that in Bullet Train, he was the Latin American killer.
Yes, he was in Bullet Train. Yes, he was in Bullet Train. Yes.
Haven't seen Bullet Train.
It wasn't that bad. But who the hell is El Muerto?
Anyways, El Muerto is another Spider-Man character, I guess. Don't know if he's a villain or what kind of role he has, or an anti-hero, whatever. But Bad Bunny was supposed to be starring in El Muerto, but apparently he's dropped off from the role and everything, so it's not going to be Bad Bunny. And obviously El Muerto was taken off Sony release calendar. Not much to add here, I think, but I don't think anyone was really looking forward to
Probably a good thing.
to El Muerto.
I don't know why they're trying to make it happen. Anyway, what I was going to say about Spider-Verse. No, they said that it's going to be 2026, the release date. And again, I think it's a good thing that they pushed the date back. So at least these animators, those 100 animators that left, sent a good, clear message that's like, guys, calm the fuck down. So let's see. I mean...
True.
But the whole point, like I said, like, come on, guys, don't. It's I hate it so much. Like, okay, to put this, and then I show the work. No, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, if you know what you want to begin with, why did you make me waste? No, you give me a tight deadline, and then you tell me, and then it's like, no, I don't like this, and that. So you made me lose sleep over something that you already knew what you wanted. Fuck's sake, man. Anyway.
Last news piece I want to talk about, guys, because I had a few others, but I don't think they're that important, is this one. The news piece about Oscar Stunt Category being discussed in the Academy. As a John Wick director says, talks are incredibly possible. We've made real movement forward, and apparently Chad Stahelski claims that by the next Oscars there actually might be a category for I don't know what it's going to be, best Oscars, best stunts,
best stunt sequence, I guess.
Sequence, maybe best stunt director, something like that.
And it's going to be taken by Tom Cruise.
Probably, yeah.
Which is unfortunate because we have so many talented stunt artists.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think this is well deserved and,
Yeah, it's a good thing.
high time we get this, guys. I don't know if you want to add anything to it.
I mean, after all the bruises and neck pains and whatever else, yeah, it's a well-deserved category. I mean, about time as well.
Yeah, definitely about time. I think the Oscars needs to expand beyond this as well. Like, I fully believe you should have a Best Blockbuster award, because that's also going to stop the fucking. I mean, it was years ago, to be fair. Now, because now they don't have a fucking leg to stand on. But all the Marvel stands being like, Black Panther should have won Best Picture, and I'm just there going, no, it shouldn't have.
No.
No.
But if it
No
has
way.
a Best Blockbuster award, yeah, okay, then I can't argue.
True. And even like, for example, last year there was Avatar 2 in Best Picture. Like,
Yeah, but that's the way you make them more inclusive, and I think more younger
Yeah.
people will be inclined to watch it if the film that they really like is nominated in something
True,
it can actually
true.
win.
True.
No, for me, the worst snubs have always been Hereditary, especially with what's her name? Oh,
With Toni Collette's performance.
Toni Collette's performance, guys. I mean,
How
come
the
on.
fuck? How the
The Academy hates horror, guys. That's how.
I really don't get it.
And Mia Goth as well. Oh, I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, I got to.
Even Florence Pugh in Midsummer probably could have been nominated that year for that performance.
True.
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 By the way, most probably Florence Pugh heard the podcast and she shaved her head because of you, Joe.
Oh no, that means it's just there waiting for me somewhere.
No, stop being creepy about. Stop.
For the record,
Madonna.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I know. Thank fuck for that. Anyway.
All right,
So-
guys, shall we move on? I think that's a good moment to move on.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
that's
Moving
all the
swiftly on.
news. Moving swiftly on. Sorry to friend of the show, Florence Pugh.
we wish, friend of the show.
So, we'll make it happen.
we
Joe,
will
keep
make
it
it
positive. We will make it happen. You'll brush.
We'll try.
Yeah, tell her when you meet her at Venice. Oh,
Yeah,
Manifest,
I was gonna
yeah,
say,
manifest.
Maybe we'll bump into each other in Venice and we'll find
Bala,
people deeply in
bala.
love. We don't know. You know, life is weird that way. My girlfriend's giving me the evils.
I love Joe looking sideways at his girlfriend.
So for the record, it's not Florence Pugh. Do you approve? But do you approve if I hook you up with Timothy Chalamet? There you go, 100%. She approves.
Fair enough. I think that's fair enough, to be honest.
We both win.
I think then Dune Part 2 is the best date movie for you guys.
True.
I think Tal only wants to see Dune 2. One, because she loved the worm in Dune Part 1. That's all she was there for, the worm. She initially only went to see it because she knew Timothée Chalamet was in it. And now she found out that Florence Pugh is also in the second one. She's like, I need to see this film.
And Timothée Chalamet will ride the worm. So you see,
Yes, exactly.
two
It's-
birds,
it's-
one
it's-
stone.
Exactly. Perfect movie for her. It's going to be probably
No,
her
so-
first
no,
5 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Sorry, two worms, one sand.
Shall we move on, guys?
Yes, the podcast was
Yes.
evolved a little bit.
So, I think that is all the news we have to talk about this week. Let us know, guys, in the comment section below any of the news or trailers that interested you. Any of the movies. I'm sure most of our fans and all our listeners and viewers are interested in challengers. Definitely, I know I am. But let's move on. Let's move on to our best, let's say favorite LGBTIQA plus movies. Franco, do you want to start, or Joe, or shall I start? Who wants to get us going?
I have so much movies that I've watched that have LGBTQI.
Shall we leave it to 3,
AI
Franco?
movies.
Shall we leave it to 3? Like top 3?
We can. It's very difficult. But yes, since it is Pride Month or the end of Pride Month, we wanted to suggest to you guys some LGBTQI movies that we've liked and we've watched. I would say one of the most let's start with one of the most recent movies that was an LGBTQAI movie, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Oh,
I think
Yes.
wait, yeah, that's not fair. I should have started.
no, I think we agree on all of it. How beautiful that movie looks. I still remember that sudden appearance of a ghost. So sudden, but so beautiful at the end of the day. Even her dress catching on fire is like and it is. It was not. I would compare this to The Handmaiden. The Handmaiden was
Yes.
but The Handmaiden was very on the erotic side, and it was
a lot darker as well. The Handmaiden.
Yeah.
darker. I mean, it's a great erotic thriller if you would could consider that.
Yeah.
But Portrait of a Lady on Fire had more nuance in it. I felt it extra. I was not that The Handmaiden was not bad. Was bad, far from it.
It's great. The
Oh,
Handmaiden.
it was amazing.
But this movie is so good. Portrait of a Lady
This
on
was
Fire.
the last film I ever watched at Valletta Film Festival.
Oh,
Nice.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Anyway, and that's my first movie. Sorry if I took any of you.
I've got some curveballs. So
I was going to suggest Blue Jean. I was enjoying it before I had to go
I haven't
to
seen
hospital.
that yet.
It's a really interesting take, especially with what's going on in America and even in England as well. She has a good performance as well. What's her name? I think Rosie McEwen.
Yeah, Rosie McEwen.
It's a good there's a good complicated story over there. Yeah, you guys go. Then I'll see, because most
Alright.
probably some of our movies are going to inter.
Yeah, they're probably
Overlap.
going to overlap. Yeah.
Joe.
So this is like, I'm going to throw you my biggest curveball of them all, and I'm looking for a reaction here. And I always thought this did have an LGBTQIA plus message in it, and it is confirmed that it does. It is on many lists of the best thrillers of this genre of film. But I am going for Sidney Lumet's Dog Day Afternoon.
True. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Way back in the 70s. It was one of the first films to feature a lot of the F word in it as well. So progressive in more ways than one. One of my favorite movies of all time. I remember when I was like properly like getting into films, and I was like 19, like 10 years ago now. I must have watched this film like at least 3 times in a week when I found it. Like I couldn't believe how good this film was. So yeah, that would be my first pick.
Okay, so for the listeners and the viewers, spoiler alert, because this the LGBTQ AI message in it is as an important plot point.
Yes,
that
huge
has
plot point in the film.
A huge plot point. So skip this part and then watch Dog Day Afternoon and come back to continue listening to the podcast.
If you're a film fan that listens to this podcast, you should have fucking watched Dog Day Afternoon.
You should. Exactly. if you haven't watched it, you should be ashamed. You are not a true Ad Lib Podcast fan. But so spoiler coming soon. Yeah, this guy the Al Pacino character steals. It's actually based on a true story, right?
Based on a true story. Yeah.
It is. Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yes. Have you watched it, Andrea?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the Al Pacino character steals the bank so that he can finance his girlfriend's transition operation.
Yeah.
We talked about it like a couple of weeks ago, right, Franco? I think.
Yes. And you're right. It was quite progressive and it's extremely progressive. and it's a very good heist movie in its same as well.
I love it. I can watch it endlessly. It's funny. It's tense. It's like the Al Pacino and the John Cazale performances are incredible in it. Its ending is brutal as well.
Yes. I wish I saw more of John Cazale, Estra.
Yeah, it's a shame he died young, eh?
Estra. I mean, they also did. They did well with Godfather as well. Oh, The Conversation wasn't The Conversation as well. Okay.
But like he died just after The Deer Hunter. He was married to Meryl Streep, and I think he had a very aggressive form of cancer.
Oh shit!
Can you imagine starting in The Godfather, then The Conversation, then The Godfather Part 2, Dog Day Afternoon, then The Godfather Saga, then you do The Deer Hunter, and then like that's the end of your life. The career this guy had in that short amount of time, not even 10 years. That's 6 years. He did all those are some of the biggest American films ever made.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
Anyways.
Dog Day Afternoon, stamp of approval for...
That's my biggest curveball today.
Nice. That was a very good choice, Joe. Very good choice. Actually, I didn't think about that movie, but we discussed it like a couple of weeks ago. Completely forgot about that. Unfortunately, my first choice was also taken by Franco because it was going to be Portrait of a Lady on Fire. First time it came out, I'm going to be honest with you, I watched it and I found it just a bit too slow for my liking. But obviously with regard to how beautifully the relationship develops and how it's portrayed and like Celine Sciamma's the female gaze in this is just incredible. It's just incredible stuff. It's just an all-around beautiful movie. The dialogue between them and the tension, the sexual tension that develops. It's just an incredible movie. And I mean, what's there to say about it?
Yeah.
Just a beautiful movie. Beautiful movie. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Franco, you're number 2.
I mean, like I said, this is a very difficult... it's a very difficult segue. Speaking of transgender issues, Tangerine. Have you watched Sean Baker's Tangerine, guys?
Not yet, actually. Not yet.
This is also a groundbreaking movie. One, not only because it's directed by Sean Baker, it was his return to form. This was filmed on an iPhone 5S.
Yeah, I remember that being a point of contention about it. All filmed on an iPhone.
Yeah. iPhone look at that. I think this is a prime example. It's not the camera you have, it's the story, and you have to make sure that it's a good sound and the way you compose your picture.
Yeah.
I think it's a funny, touching story about true transgender prostitutes in California. Just watch it, guys. Check it out. Not only for its technicalities, but also for a good stories. Like you can see, the IMDb rating stands great, considering what's going on in America right now as well. And it's a very short movie, 1 hour 28 movies. Very, very energetic as well.
This is the kind of movie I expect to have. Not bad. This is the kind of movie I expect to have a lot of ones, like the review bombings, and then have the 8s and 7s and 8s and 9s. Interesting. 844 gave it a 1. Fair enough. Not too many.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you?
So
movie
my
number
second
2.
one, it's going to be another curveball for you. But the directors themselves have confirmed this as an LGBTQA plus movie. It's The Matrix, guys. It's The Matrix.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
This might be seen as like the most like masculine pick there is, but I cannot understate how the original Matrix, when I first watched it when I was 11, changed my fucking life.
It changed all our lives.
I didn't know you could do these things in a film. I thought things they did in this film were only possible in cartoons when I first found this film.
True.
I still remember finding my grandmother in England had the VHS tape because she had this big in her spare bedroom. She had this big cupboard filled with VHS tapes that she would just buy anything she saw at car boot sales. And I remember seeing this one, The Matrix, like to an 11-year-old kid. It's like cool people in like long black coats and sunglasses and there's a gun, I'm definitely gonna watch that. And it's only then now, as you get older and you hear the Wachowskis speak about the trans narrative through it, that you kind of have to go, yes, there is definitely a trans narrative to this. And then you see that explored even more in the most recent Matrix films. Despite the fact I didn't love that Matrix film, I do have to admire what they are doing with it and what they have done with it so far. It's one of the best action movies ever made, one of the most influential as well. And I think it's a crime to not include it on a list like this.
Remind me how it was, how they said. But I remember they said, they confirmed it's a trans. It's about being trans.
Yeah,
but
well,
how was it?
The whole thing is it's breaking free from a world that thinks you're one thing and really being yourself.
Which is funny since this is now being, so to speak, observed by the Red Pill pipeline.
Yes,
and
that's the funniest thing
is.
And Andrew Tate, who he definitely hates trans people. He keeps bringing up the Matrix. Like, dude, do you even know what the Matrix is about?
Matrix is about. I mean, it's funny because it's directed by trans.
Yes,
by trans directors as well. So
yeah, when the Wachowskis made this film, this is not to dead name them. This is just a historical fact. They were known as the Wachowski brothers.
Brothers, yeah, exactly.
And now they are just known as the Wachowskis.
Which is sisters,
Interesting choice. Very interesting choice.
In short, I love the Matrix.
And there's also a quick mention, Sense8 as well.
Yeah, Sense8 is a criminally underseen show. Sense8. But yeah, that's my second pick.
Compared to this, my choice is very vanilla. So the movie I chose was Parallel Mothers. I don't know if you guys have watched it.
I actually haven't seen this.
I haven't seen it either.
But I really like this. I really like this movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I know there was some criticism for it in the group, in the Prickly Pears group. Actually, I watched it a little later than everyone. I hadn't watched it when it came out, the day it came out in Malta. I watched it a little later. I went in expecting negative stuff, but I actually absolutely loved it. I went to watch it with my girlfriend. It's just again a beautiful movie. Again, it's the same stuff I basically said for Portrait of a Lady on Fire. The sexual tension that develops in this movie is just wow. You could I watched this in the cinema in St. James, and like you could feel the tension. The tension was palpable, developing between the two, and the way the story develops and the plot twists. They were amazing. Like it was a very, very well written, very well told story, beautiful, emotional tale. Yeah, just an all around great movie. Have you guys watched Parallel Mothers?
Not yet.
Highly recommended. Highly recommended. It'd be interesting to see what you think about this this movie. But yeah, Parallel Mothers is, I think, a very, very good movie. 7.1, fair enough. I mean, I understand the rating. Again, this is the kind of movie I would... Not bad. So that is my choice. That's my second choice. Franco, your third and final choice.
It's so... it's so difficult. It's so difficult. Like, for example, I'm watching the list of LGBTQ movies that I've watched. There's so many I can suggest. I think I'm gonna mention it, and then I'm gonna give my suggestions. Let me just a second. I think I would go to Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia was the first movie for me to go to make me like understand more the problem with the AIDS pandemic, and it was my first Jonathan Demme movie as well. It was the first movie that made me aware of the problems with homosexuality and the prejudices of homosexuality as well. I mean, not of homosexuality. The prejudice faced by the homosexual community, but it's a great drama. There's also great performances by Denzel Washington and Tom Hanks.
I haven't watched this now. I think about it.
I haven't seen Philadelphia either.
I mean, there's the great song of Bruce Springsteen, "Streets of Philadelphia." The typical Jonathan Demme breaking the fourth wall close up. It does. As far as I remember, it does fall slightly on the melodramatic. But it's a good movie to watch. It's a good dramatic movie. And then, as I'm going to mention some honorable mentions, Weekend. It's a gay movie. There's Mysterious Skin. Greg Araki. That's a tough watch. So be warned. Be forewarned.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm thinking of another one. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Mysterious Skin.
Yeah. It's a rough. There's also just a second. Yeah, I was mentioning Victim. This is a 60s movie directed by Basil Darden with Derek Bogard. This predates Dog Day Afternoon in the sense of LGBTQIA issues being openly discussed in cinema. There's also Persona, I would say, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence Anyways, I feel it's Xavier Dolan's masterpiece. It's such a beautiful movie. What else? I'm checking more movies that I have seen as well.
It's like you're trying to take whatever Andrea and I have left.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Go for it.
Tell us your third and final movie.
My third and final movie. My girlfriend will kill me for not choosing Call Me by Your Name, which is a movie I like. It's a movie I like. But in my opinion, there was a superior gay romance released that year by Francis Lee, and that's God's Own Country.
Ooh.
Which I don't think I've ever met anyone that's actually watched that film.
I haven't watched it.
We've heard about it.
It was the first time I ever saw Josh O'Connor, and I was really, really impressed with him. And I can't remember the name of the other guy. I think he's Romanian.
Yes. That's the story, right? He's a Romanian immigrant.
It's a very frustrated and angry farmhand has to work with a migrant worker in Yorkshire with a load of sheep and things happen. It's very good though, really, really. In fact, I was then disappointed with Francis Lee's next film, Ammonite, which is another. Well, that's a lesbian love story, but yeah, I didn't like Ammonite as much as I like. God's Own Country was really, really good. Just a very tender, slow at times, but very short love story.
Okay. Now, in my case, my third and final choice is what was, I believe it was my second favorite movie of 2021, The Power of the Dog, which I know is controversial, but I really, really like The Power of the Dog. Like, I adore Jane Campion. I adore all her movies. Like, Power of the Dog is just incredible for me. Like, cinematography-wise, performances-wise, the big twist, right? That you have midway through the story. Like, everything about it is quality. I was very upset that this movie did not win Best Picture. 2021 was the year when which movie won 2021 won Best Picture?
This was the Coda, yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Coda.
I have watched Coda. It's a nice movie. It's a fine movie. It's not The Power of the Dog. I'm sorry. Yeah. Not even close to being as good as The Power of the Dog. That was a very upsetting Oscar year for me. I was really, really angry about it. But yeah, I think Power of the Dog is a movie everyone should watch. Really, really kind of, it's a nice twist to the usual westerns we're used to, which I think is a very good segue to our reviews. What do you think, guys? And I can start off with another very interesting Western that I watched a couple of days ago called Surrounded. Surrounded, starring Letitia Wright and Jamie Bell, who both, I can start off now, give stunning performances. Jamie Bell is an incredible antagonist, such a good antagonist in this movie. Very good at trying to make himself very likable, and you can understand what's going on. So let me give you an idea of the story. Basically, we've got Mo Washington, who was a former Buffalo soldier, traveling west to lay claim on a gold mine. Basically, she had one, obviously, for fighting in the Civil War. After her stagecoach is ambushed, Mo is tasked with holding a dangerous outlaw captive, who is Jamie Bell, and must survive the day when the bandits gang tries to free him. Hence the title of the movie, Surrounded by Enemies. So Surrounded is a fantastic, very interesting Western. Really, again, just like I was talking about Power of the Dog, really takes some interesting twists and turns. I was so happy. So happy in this to see Michael Kenneth Williams in it as Will Clay. He has a fantastic cameo in this movie. Like I was saying, both Letitia Wright and Jamie Bell have a fantastic like love-hate relationship in this. He is the antagonist in this, and he is fucking evil. But at the same time, you can see some humanity behind the evil of Tommy Walsh, who is this like legendary outlaw. And it's a really interesting dynamic between Letitia Wright and Jamie Bell. So I really like that. Those are the also positive about this movie was the cinematography. It was beautifully shot. You can tell that this is a director who knows visuals. Apparently, Anthony Mandler has done some of I don't know if it was Taylor Swift's music videos. I forgot, but he's famous for directing a lot of big, like very popular music videos. You can tell this is someone who really has a good grasp of visuals. Because the shots he has here, these, the classic Western shots, are stunning to look at. Those are the positives. With regard to negatives, I think sometimes the writing is a little bland. As good as the performances are, sometimes the writing for the characters is a little bit bland, which put me off at times. That's one thing that I kind of disliked at times. Another thing I also kind of disliked was the pacing. So it's 2 hours, 1 hour 40 minutes. But even at 1 hour 40 minutes, sometimes the movie really like slows down far too much. It becomes way too talky, and it becomes a little frustrating, which sounds weird because again it's 1 hour 40 minutes. So like how slow can a 1 hour 40 minute movie be? But it does feel a little too slow at times. Never too slow though. I never looked at my phone, for example. I was always engrossed into it. But again, some of the weak writing did play a part as well into making it feel a little slow as well. I feel like if the dialogue between the two, especially between Letitia Wright and Jamie Bell, was just a bit better, this could have been like a 4.5 out of 5 movie. For what it is, I think this is a solid 3 or 3.5. I'm in between a 3 and a 3.5 movie. You can do much worse than Surrounded, and an overall solid movie, which I enjoyed watching. Nice. So that is my review for Surrounded. I would recommend going to watch Surrounded. It's an interesting twist to the classic Western movie. Next up, shall we do The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster? Franco.
For sure. And guys, I suggest that you watch this, please. This is a debut film. I think he has a very interesting name, the director. Bomani J. Story. So, what was I going to say? Just a second. Tuli chance, guys, I blanked. Yes, I was gonna say then Surrounded, the trailer doesn't do it much justice then, I feel like.
I haven't watched the trailer for Surrounded. Does it look bad?
Yeah, we reacted to it and was like, okay.
Oh, yes, we had. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, no. It's a solid-looking movie. It's a solid-looking movie.
Okay. So, the Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. I totally disagree with that rating. It's not a 5 on 10. But most probably I understand why. So basically, to tell you the story, Vicaria is a brilliant teenager who believes death is a disease that can be cured. After the brutal murder of her brother, she embarks on a dangerous journey to bring him back to life. So I'm going to start with the not so good stuff. It is by no means a perfect movie. Some themes don't gel well together. There were some moments where the acting and the dialogue was a bit off. But you remember, guys, how much I was complaining about stories. We lack original stories and we lack something fresh. Now, the story is by no means original. If you watch the movie, you understand why. So, do you mind if I spoil it, guys? I mean, it's not much of a spoiler. I mean, you most probably might have realized by her trying to cure death which story this movie is all about. I mentioned in the beginning, it's based on the story of Frankenstein, but I genuinely enjoyed the ambition, the kind of elevated horror the director and writer tried to do about it. Performances, despite some faults here and there, were overall great. The cinematography, there were some moments that were genuinely like hair-raising. The first few shots and the intro were great. The intro shows such a great contrast between by the way, it's all based in a black community. So there's the obvious gang element in this community. You see it like I don't know gang culture, but you'll notice that there was a gang with the motif of the red handkerchief that they were that they were on their pockets, and the contrast with this very brilliant teenager that she's explaining a young girl, she's educating a young girl. So you see this kind of contrast between a life of crime and a potential life of education. The director was very ambitious, and he's tried to find new elements within it, and even the way that he changed the story, and how there's also the idea of the male and female in it as well. I mean, guys, watch it, check it out. It's very interesting. In fact, I hope Jordan Peele gets this director on his radar, because he has got huge potential. And I actually send the director to hopefully get him on the podcast. And I told him I hope Jordan Peele gets you on this director. It's a great debut. There were some moments which he could have done without. There was a shot, it showed that it was CG, because then the practical effects were so good in it. There's an element of gore in this movie as well. And but yeah, these unfortunately had to do with budget constraints mostly. But otherwise, that's it, guys. Check it out.
Okie dokies. So, The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Moving on to the next review. Shall we review, Joe, shall we do You Hurt My Feelings? Oh, sorry, No Hard Feelings. Confusing me, Jesus.
Yes, sure.
No Hard Feelings.
I mean, I can tell you hurt my feelings, but I haven't completed it yet. So
finish it and then give us your review then, Franco.
So, No Hard Feelings is, I believe, from Gene Stupinski. He had done Good Boys previously, and he had also done the direction on one of my favorite shows of the year so far, which is Jury Duty. Don't Sleep on Jury Duty, definitely watch
Yes.
that. It's the new Jennifer Lawrence raunchy comedy, which we don't... It's kind of a dying breed, this kind of film, nowadays, because they don't typically do very well. Like, people just don't go to watch them, and it does feel like a film from like the late 2000s within the best way. But before I get right into it, well, let's see what's about. As I said, directed by Gene Stupinski, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Andrew Barth Feldman. And on the brink of losing her home, Maddie finds an intriguing job listing. Helicopter parents looking for someone to bring their introverted 19-year-old son out of his shell before college. She has one summer to make him a man or die trying. This kind of undersells it a bit, because there's a lot more to it than that. Like, they're not just losing a home, because it's based in Montauk, which is a part of Long Island, which apparently now is just a total gentrification zone. Like, locals have been completely pushed out by the elite who have come in, and they've bought holiday homes over there. And there's a very good and not like too on the nose commentary about all of that. Now, you have someone like Jennifer Lawrence, where I really wanted her to do kind of movies like this for years, because I thought she was perfect at it. She's like naturally goofy, she's obviously really good looking, and she's obviously a really good actor as well, where she can do the serious stuff, but she's very good at the goofy stuff, and she really proves it here, where she is hilarious throughout the whole film. In fact, the best thing about this was, I said earlier in the podcast, we'll bring it up again, I kind of only went to see this because I was alone on Saturday night. I didn't really have much to do. I didn't want to continue like editing away on my computer, because like to not feel like I'm working all the time. And I found the theater next to me where you can buy a ticket based on the seat that you get, and I chose one of the cheaper seats, which I still had a great view. I was still comfortable because the film also isn't very long as well. So all in all, it was kind of like the perfect experience. Like, it was cheap, I enjoyed myself, but kind of the best thing about it was, I can't remember the last time I've been to a film at a theater where it's intentionally trying to be funny, and all the comedy and the jokes are landing, and the whole audience is laughing together.
Okay.
This is like the first film in a while where like when like a big gag happens, the whole theater was like audible laughter, not like a little like giggle like here and there. Like, I kind of like had a realization myself. I'm like, I don't remember the last time this has happened. Like, genuinely, like you have like the odd like, okay, like in Spiderverse there were a couple of like quips here and there, but even those didn't land for everyone. This was like just consistent, like a laugh a minute kind of stuff. But the thing that really, I'm gonna say, elevates it, and I believe it does, is the chemistry between the two leads. Now, there's a lot of, I'm gonna say this right now, really fucking stupid controversy about this film, because they're like, oh, why is 32-year-old Jennifer Lawrence kissing a 19-year-old boy in this film? I'll tell you fucking idiots why. It's because they're both of the legal age, and also they're both professional fucking actors playing a role. Can we please just get that into our heads, that the people that we see on screen are fictional characters and they're being played by actors? And then, like, but that being said, they really work. And I believe this is Andrew Barth Feldman's first role. I haven't seen him in anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not only going up against an Oscar winner and Oscar nominee in this, he's got to be her complete scene partner in scenes and like using language, which could be very difficult for someone that young and inexperienced to do, but he completely holds his own. He's fantastic in this film. He's just as funny as Jennifer Lawrence is at certain times, and this isn't like, I'm not going to go and say this is like, oh, like the best comedy film in years or something like that. It's nice that we have a good studio R-rated comedy, because I genuinely can't remember the last good one we had that came out in a theater. As I said, it feels like something, there was that really good era we had, like around when Apatow was at like the peak of his powers, like late 2010, when like Forgetting Sarah Marshall came out, I Love You Man came out, when you had your Superbads, where these R-rated comedies with a bit of raunch to them were doing really well, but somewhere the formula died. This kind of breathes a bit more life into it. There's a bit more heart, and I think it's really good that Jennifer Lawrence attached her name and her stardom to something like this. It's very modestly budgeted as well, generally, as films go nowadays. And I'm actually really happy to see that it's doing well. Like, I actually can't wait for it to come out on digital, because I said this would be the perfect film for like my girlfriend and I to watch. That like, it's just it's easy and it's lighthearted and it's fun and it's funny and it's not trying to have some really big message. It kind of just is what it is. It is this story. There's some nicer meanings behind it, but it's not trying to be deep. It's not trying to send a message. It's just a fun, good old-fashioned comedy. I had a very good time when I went to go and see this film.
Nice.
This feels like it's another movie that the trailer doesn't do it justice
No,
as well,
not at
because
all.
the trailer, if you're saying,
Wow.
because we did react to the trailer and then we're like, is she really doing that? But then when we held our judgment, and you're saying that this movie has heart.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you said, if Jennifer Lawrence is it, I think she saw some potential.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said this when we reacted to the trailer, and I think thank you for confirming that, because at least I might go and watch it.
Yeah.
It's a good.
For me,
It's a good.
It's like the perfect 7 to 7.5 out of 10 movie. Like,
Oh, okay.
you're gonna go in. It's gonna be very fast because the film moves very quickly and it's only an hour and 43 minutes. You're gonna laugh a lot. You don't need to take it seriously. You don't even need to pay attention that much. But like the laughs in it, nothing's cheap. You know, they're all earned. They're good gags. They're written well. There's
Nice.
a lot of physical comedy in it as well, which is a nice thing to see for a change. As I said, like of the films, I would like to kind of like semi-spoil my Asteroid City review from now. Of the 2 films I watched this weekend, this one was my favorite.
Shall we get into it then, Joe?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to throw hands now. Oh, not throw hands. Okay, I'm really
I mean,
this.
Wes Anderson will have no hard feelings about that. Oh, you missed my dead joke. Shut the fuck up.
Whatever you say.
Save us, Joe. What were your thoughts on Asteroid City?
So, Asteroid City. I need to be a bit briefer about this one because it's a pretty. I mean, you guys are going to watch it, right?
Oh, 100%. The problem is obviously where it released in Malta
Yes,
for obvious reasons,
Yes.
so I can't go watch it.
Okay. So,
But
we
once
have
I can, I will go
Yeah.
watch it at once.
we have a new Wes Anderson film with a gigantic cast. I'll start off by saying I do like it. I'll spoil from now. My rating on Letterboxd of this film is a 3 out of 5. Right? Like no hard feelings was just above that. It was a 3.5 out of 5. But I do have issues with it, and my issues aren't like what some on Prickly Pears have said, because I really like Wes Anderson. I like that he's kind of got a formula and he's got a style. I see it as, if you look at a Picasso painting, you fucking know it's a Picasso painting. I like that when I look at a Wes Anderson film, I know it's a Wes Anderson film. What I would like from him, and this is the second time he's done it, and I won't spoil how he has done it, and it's what I didn't like about The French Dispatch, is at points in this film, there's a really, like third, like fucking hat trick, really unnecessary meta-narrative to it, which if you cut that out of the film completely, you have a much tighter and much more enjoyable film. The only thing I want to see Wes Anderson do differently from now on is his approach to stories and structure. Have the camera movements, have the visual style, have the quirkiness to it. That's what makes him him. But I need something different when it comes to the stories. Now, the main story to be fair, the description there kind of like reveals the meta-narrative. So, following a writer on his world-famous fictional play about a grieving father who travels with his tech-obsessed family to a small rural asteroid city to compete in a major stargazing event, only to have his worldview disrupted forever. That is the meta-narrative of this film. There's a whole part about this film where Asteroid City is about a writer writing Asteroid City whilst making the play Asteroid City. And like, how convoluted that sounds. I kind of just like look back at this film and I go like, everything that happened in Asteroid City, I liked for the most part. It worked. There were laughs. There was a bit of like the Wes Anderson tragedy in there. Everything out of it involving the writer and the writing of his play. Like, there's a phrase we use here in the UK. It's very wanky. Like, and that's a lot of the meta narrative kind of felt like you kind of just like jerking yourself off here. Like, it felt like he was really saying something when I don't think he was saying anything at all. And that's why I think if you cut out the meta narrative, you do have a much tighter film. You probably lose about 15 minutes as well. It's much tighter all round. But on the whole, I did quite like it. It's got its issues. It's better than French Dispatch, because I really didn't like the French Dispatch. I thought that was like way too long and like boring in a way. I was never bored in Asteroid City, but I was frustrated.
I really liked French Dispatch. I think I'm the only guy in Malta who liked French Dispatch.
I like French Dispatch as well.
I liked one of the stories in French Dispatch, which was the one featuring Benicio del Toro.
Yes, very good.
I didn't like Grand Budapest then, but I like French Dispatch.
I find that bizarre, because I think Grand Budapest is like one of his best by far and away. That was actually one where he dropped all the meta-ness and just told a nice, quirky story.
That's for me. That's for me when I saw Wes Anderson flogging this dead horse. That's what I call it. When he started becoming full of it. It's not French Dispatch. I'm seeing it through rose-colored glasses because I saw it in Korea. It's the first Wes Anderson I saw in a cinema. You know, not on a TV. I'm gonna admit that there's that bias. On cinema, it looks fantastic.
It does. I watched it in St. James, and it looked great. It looked really good.
I'll wait for this as well before I watch it. But after watching Chazelle, after watching what Chazelle did, what Ari Aster did, and what a huge risk they took, sometimes earned, sometimes not. And then see this guy doing well for doing the same fucking trick over again.
But I mean, it's his own form of indulgence.
But you said it yourself, man. He's liking the smell of his own farts now.
Yes, but I mean, I could say the same thing for both Beau is Afraid and Babylon. They're both films that love the smell of their own farts.
Yeah, but at least you see that there was an intention that they're trying to.
I see your point. What they were trying to, at least in the case of Chazelle and Asta, I believe they were trying to push themselves beyond their usual indulgences by indulging even deeper in what they do, which is a weird way to do it, if you ask me. Now, I don't think Anderson plays it safe in Asteroid City, because the safe way to do it is the way I'm suggesting, which is removing the entire meta-narrative that's in the film.
I mean, he needs a good rehaul. I'm not joking about this. I would love to see a horror done by Wes Anderson.
Literally about to say the exact same thing. I was going to say I would love to see him attempt a horror film.
Wi-Fi 5.
How is that? I don't know how that's going to work visually. That's going to be interesting.
No. I mean, look. Argento did it before.
Yes. He needs to as well. A lot of his to be fair, my favorite Wes Anderson movie ever is probably his least Wes Anderson-y one, which is Rushmore, because I love the emotional hook in that film. But then if you look at the films beyond that, if you look at the Darjeeling Limited and the Tenenbaums, he's really lost his bite.
Oh, exactly. Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums was also had an emotional bite.
Yeah, completely. They had those. Even Rushmore, the fact it's about like a teenage kid, had a really dark bite at a certain point, where when the emotion hits, it hits you like a bullet to the back of the head. And he hasn't done that in about 10 years, which I'm not saying he has to. But that's kind of what set those films apart. The fact that they had this quirkiness and they were these sort of semi-light-hearted tales. But then when the bite hits, it really sets them apart in terms of their narrative.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing, because he's too much into his own artifice now. He's in his own Rubicon, so to speak. Was Anderson Rubicon. I mean, it's colorful, but dude, get out, you know.
I mean, it's a shame because as well how this film was marketed, I kind of got the vibe from the first trailer that he was doing his own sort of Close Encounters, which I would have been all for.
Oh.
Like, I thought it was going to be because I kind of like avoided like any kind of plot descriptions and stuff like that. I thought the film was going to be like people living in a small place called Asteroid City, and they get visited by aliens, and they try to figure out like what's going on with them. But
yeah, exactly my thoughts as well. That's exactly the kind of movie I thought it was going to be. Wait, so it's not that. Yeah.
I mean, it is and it isn't, because there's this whole, like as you say, the following the writer on this like thing. It just doesn't need you can cut it out of the film so easily, where it doesn't need to be there. Like I could probably edit the film and get rid of all of that.
Joe, we're forgetting Moonrise Kingdom as well. I think Moonrise Kingdom was also approaching those that emotional bite. I feel like Moonrise Kingdom had, for me, like even Moonrise Kingdom had some sort of purpose. Then Grand Budapest happens. Like
I really liked Grand Budapest. Grand Budapest was like, for me, it was his version. He was going back to coming of age like he had done in Rushmore, and he was doing it on a grander scale.
I mean, look, something was missing. It was too sweet of a cake, I feel like, and I like eating cake.
Yeah.
And then French Dispatch, and this is like the cake he forgot to put the flour in, or the eggs.
Guys, shall we conclude with the bear?
Well, I was gonna ask, what kind of horror would Wes Anderson do, if you think about it?
It's almost midnight. My brain is fried.
I was gonna say, knowing him, like a ghost story, but in the way of like they're actually like floating sheets.
Have you ever watched a Mario Bava movie, Joe?
I don't think so. No.
Do watch a Mario Bava movie, and you'll I think, seeing how he can his production design really captures well the vintage aesthetic. A Giallo would be right up his alley.
Yeah.
And Mario Bava, let me tell you, a movie that I really enjoyed watching. In a second, Andrea, I'm checking this movie, and even our listeners will check this movie. Bear with me a second. I hope I'm not being confused with Lamberto Bava, but I think Mario Bava started. Blood and Black Lace.
Okay. I've added it to my list right now.
It's so colorful. It's so well composed. It's amazing. And you see where Dario Argento took his
That's good, because I like early Argento, so
yeah, took his cue basically.
alrighty.
Okie dokies. Joe,
I'll be very brief on The Bear, because as I said, I haven't totally finished it. I have the last 30 minutes of the show to go, but I do feel like I can give a general overview, because this is a longer season than season 1. Season 1 was only 6 episodes. This is 10. I'll start with my biggest criticism of this show, and the only criticism I have so far. Why the fuck did Hulu release this all in one day? I would have loved to have been watching this week on week and anticipating what was going to come next. Or even with the way the show is structured, you could have done an Andor and done it in 3s. If you release the first 3 episodes on one day and then wait a week and then the next 3 episodes, also a very good way of doing things. I'm not going to spoil a single thing. The only thing I will say is certain people, it does an interesting thing, The Bear, this season, because obviously for you guys both watched the first season, yes?
Of course. I haven't. No, I haven't.
Oh. Nope. You should do that. In that case, I won't spoil how season 1.
No, please don't.
But anyway, The Bear, season 2, it goes out of the kitchen, so to speak. Now it is much more about. It's still definitely a show about cooking and about chefs, but now this season it is much more about its characters, especially some of its side characters. And I did a post on Prickly Pears praising season 6, thinking I had seen one of the best episodes of television this year. And that isn't to say that I didn't see one of the best episodes of television this year. I did see one of the best episodes of television this year. But that isn't my favorite episode of The Bear season 2. my favorite episode of season 2 of The Bear is episode 7, which comes after that, because like it's actually like a bit difficult for me to talk about it. Just the emotional arc that a certain character goes on throughout this episode, and like in fact avoid Twitter because there are spoilers for this particular scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
The arc that they go on, the conclusion that they come to, it was so like relatable to me because it involves just like finding purpose and finding meaning in the things that you do. It was one of the best depictions I've ever seen of that on screen. It's almost annoying that there's this good like character drama and development in a show that started off like about a fucking sandwich shop in a way. And now it speaks for itself because season 2 is Hulu's largest ever watched premiere. It beat I think 70% more people tuned in for the premiere of season 2 of The Bear than season 1 did. So that just speaks volumes about itself. The cast are destined to become stars as well. Jeremy Allen White, I had loved him when I had seen him in Shameless years ago, and he's incredible once again. Ayo Edebiri is fantastic, but to me, the main one. And in fact, I was happily surprised when I saw him he has a small part in No Hard Feelings, is Eben Moss Bacharach, is by far and away one of the best actors we have working in television today. There's not much more I can say without spoiling stuff, but this is, for anyone, season 1 and even more season 2 is such essential viewing for anyone. Because it's so, Franco will know, the first season is so kinetically done, and season 2 kind of slows that down a little bit, and it delves a bit deeper, but then it has those moments of like these kinetic moments. Like episode 6, it's an hour-long episode. It's the longest episode of the show. And like, I was just like so stressed out and connected to the whole thing when I was watching it. And I have a feeling, Franco, you will relate to episode 6 in a very big way as well.
Ooh,
with the way it does things. It's I knew season 2 was going to be good just because like you have the same writers behind it, you have the same cast. Season 1 was already so good.
Alex O'Keefe is involved.
Yes,
the same writer. Oh, yes, great.
Okay. And Christopher Storer directs most of the episodes as well. It's very clear that Christopher Storer originally wanted to be a director, but had to be a writer first. Rami Youssef directs an episode, and it's a fantastic one at that as well. But it's like, again, I go back to my biggest criticism. It's such a shame that, because we've had a fantastic year for television so far. Okay, we had some disappointments. We had The Mandalorian, which was a stinker. But for the Succession fans, Succession ended on a massive, massive high for the series. One of the definitely going down in history as one of the best shows ever. Barry, for the people that actually watched it, that's going down as like probably one of the biggest cult classic shows that there's ever going to be. It's probably going to come back around in a couple of years. People are going to be like, we should have watched this when it came out. It baffles me as to why Hulu decided to blow their load all in one day with this. That's the only criticism I have about the show. I can't wait to finish it. In fact, I'll probably finish it straight after this. And just like I did with season 1, I probably will restart this season as soon as I finish the last episode. I think I've watched season 1 of The Bear 3 times because it was just so easy to watch, and you see different things every time, and you get connections to these characters. And season 2 is just more and more and more of that. It's a delight. It's fantastic television.
Nice. All right, Joe. By the way, I wanted to ask you, how long are the episodes for?
Generally 30 minutes.
Okay, so not very long.
Then you have like an odd one out, which will be like 40. As I said, episode 6 is an hour.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Nice. All right.
So, guys, sorry. I think there's a new Coen movie coming out.
Yes, but only by one Coen.
By one Coen, Ethan Coen, called Drive Away Dolls.
Yes, it apparently, I'm crossing my fingers, apparently it might premiere at Venice as well, so movie gods do me a favour.
What's it called?
That will be the second time I see a Coen movie at Venice Film Festival as well, so I managed to see
which was
Scrubs.
Oh, okay.
It's called... Ooh, nice.
It's called Drive Away Dolls.
Drive Away Dolls. Okay.
There's our Zeddy, Pedro Pascal.
Nice.
Looks interesting. Looks very campy. In a Coen sort of way.
Yeah,
Coen brothers.
I'll
sort of
watch
way.
anything by either Coens or both of them. So
Oh wow, who's this actress, Annie Gonzalez?
I don't know. Margaret Qualley's in it as well, and I'll watch anything she's in.
Yeah, Margaret Qualley, Jeannie Goldstein, Pedro Pascal, Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Matt Damon!
Good cast.
Jesus, she's stunning. Wow.
Okay.
No, I mean, look her up. She's wow. Okay. I think we can end it here, guys.
Yeah.
My brain is fried and has been fried for the past 45 minutes.
Yeah, I need to watch The Bear and sleep.
What a great nightmare to go to. All right.
All right, guys. So, to our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for watching and listening. As always, any of the movies we've talked about you are interested in, if you have thoughts about any of the movies or series we've talked about, let us know in the comment section below. Also, tell us, are you interested in watching The Bear? Have you watched The Bear? Do you agree with Joe that it's... Joe, would you say it's one of the best TV you've seen in the past few years?
It is so far one of my favorite TV shows ever.
Nice.
It's gonna, if it continues like this, it will make the list.
Nice. And obviously you still have the final episode, right? To watch.
Yes.
Final episode. So we'll finish it off tonight.
Yeah.
Enjoy then, Joe. So with this, guys, I shall leave you. Franco, thank you as always for joining.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you. Good night,
Joe.
Annie Gonzalez. You're right.
Have
Friend
you
of the
looked
show.
her up?
And I'm the creep. So
Wait, all I said was she looks stunning.
no. I'm
That's what I said.
taking a pot shot at Franco over here.
No. But you're right. You're right, Andrea. She's stunning.
I mean, come on. Like, this is her IMDb page. I mean, come on, please.
Yeah. I get it.
Like,
Oh, she was a Legion. I haven't watched Legion in ages.
I only ever watched the first season of Legion, and it was like if Wes Anderson did X-Men.
And
There's already
apparently-
something.
Flamin' Hot is apparently really good. I've heard a lot of people saying it's good.
But are these people like us people or
Yeah.
those
No,
people?
they're when I say these people, I mean Twitter people. A lot of Twitter
Normies. Normies.
Those could be those people, though.
people. No, I wouldn't say normies. They're the Twitter like
It's got a 3 out of 5
movie
on Letterboxd.
fans. 3 out
3 out
Oh
of
yeah,
5 isn't bad.
fair enough.
Yeah, okay. And she was also in Shameless as well. So
Okay. Well, I'll just say she's stunning.
she is.
Hello, my guys.
Anyway.
Thanks so much to our viewers and listeners. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Like I said, tell us about the movies we talked about the series we talked about, the news, the trailers, all that stuff. Follow our socials. Make sure to follow our TikTok. Hopefully now that the holidays are coming up, I will have more time to make TikToks. I'll make those like nice 1 minute 1 minute videos after watching movies. I'll have the time to do those now with my holidays starting quite soon, actually 6th 7th July they will start. And with that, guys, with the thoughts of my holidays coming up, I shall leave you. Ciao guys.
Have a good one.
Adios.
Good night. Bye.